Tired of walking, flying, riding a smelly horse? Tired of placing rails and crafting fireworks? Ever notice the music stop as you walk in the deafening silence and suddenly feel so alone in this empty virtual world? Well, do I have the answer for you. Jump Transport, the revolutionary new way to travel instantly. Elytra, more like bi-Elytra. So tear down your nether hubs, destroy your ice highways, and tell that horse you don't love him no more. Jump Transport. Just jump, but you want to go and whoosh, you're there. It's that easy. Jump Transport. Why walk when you can jump?
Jump Transport is a trademark of the Qwayzaar Corporation. This fast travel system may include extensive usage on loading. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello guys, Minecraft here. Hello guys, Qwayzaar here, and welcome back to Minecraft with Qwayzaar. I think, you know, last week we made the jump transport video in our map room there, and it went completely viral, which was well, yeah, it's gone in my head. I mean, look at me, all these nice comments, calling me a genius, saying I reinvented fast travel. Look at my head now. Look what you've done. But no, in all seriousness, guys, I just want to thank everyone for all the views and the comments and people who've found the Let's Play through the jump transport thing, to the people who've been trying to get it working on Bedrock and things like that, and who encouraged me to make the tutorial. And I'm going to do another episode on jump transport now, just because I'm really into it myself, and I'm just in creative for the big head thing, by the way. So we can have a fast look around our world, and because I think there's a lot more potential here. But I just wanted to say hello to all the new subscribers, and I wanted to just let you know that I play Minecraft just for fun when I have time, despite what a lot of the comments said. I actually do have a job, so I mean, I wish I could play it more, but I have kind of times in between projects where I get to play a lot, but also I just get burnt out, like everyone does, from Minecraft, so I tend to take really long breaks. So I just want to let you know that I kind of upload quite infrequently, but when I do upload, it's because I'm feeling really passionate and have something that I'm very excited about. And so yeah, that's all I wanted to say at the top here, and let's get going. Okay guys, we are back in the survival world, and I wanted to check something. So I was joking with the ad up at the top, of course. I mean, I love Nether Hub, I love my ice highways, I'm going to continue building them, but at the same time, the system's pretty quick, and I wanted to check just how fast it is. So of course it's faster than going to the nether and taking the ice highway, we all know that. And I just went through the nether portal there a second ago to see how long it took, and I didn't count it precisely yet, but it felt pretty long. And so I think we can be pretty sure that we can reach our ice farm 1,200 blocks away before we make it through our nether portal. But what I'm wondering is, can we make it to our ice farm 1,200 blocks away and back here, so almost 2,500 blocks, before we even make it through the nether portal? So that's what we're gonna see. Okay, so that was pretty close. I went easy on the nether portal because it's hard to define when the transition begins, like when that animation starts kind of coming up on screen. But the nether portal won out just about. It was almost identical. The time it took us to get to our ice farm and back to here was almost identical as the time it took just to go through the nether portal. Which, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty game changing. So let's see if we can speed this up. Okay, so right now when I jump, there is a, I think, 2.33 second delay when we jump and before we get transported. Now the shorter we can make that delay, the more responsive this system will feel, right? And I mean, the ultimate would be if there was a way to detect when the player actually hits jump instead of just the sound they make when they land. If we could detect them pressing jump, this system would be absolutely instant. The moment we land, we'd be there. It would feel incredible. Unfortunately, I looked around as much as I could, and I don't think there is any way to detect the actual initial start of a jump. If anyone knows, please let me know. You would make me extremely happy. But let's see if we can reduce the delay. Okay, so here's our previous sender portal mechanism. So we had the calibrated skulk sensor would power this piston, which would push the redstone block down and send off the minecart. And that looks pretty neat and tidy, but actually just using redstone dust is faster because there's a slight delay for the piston to extend. So we actually managed to get the delay on the jump before we teleport from 2.35 seconds with this design to 2.22 with this redstone dust change. Alright guys, so we're in the nether now, and this is the item sorter, which takes the signal based on which block was sent by the minecarts and triggers that line, eventually triggering the ender porter. So this is potentially a somewhere that we could save some time, especially in the future. So if you look right now, this is the line here, and the first one here is our slime farm. So technically, because it's first, it will be slightly faster than the ice farm, and whatever's at the end of the line will be a little slower again. So it's not something I really thought about when I first started designing it, but ideally we would place our most frequented locations closer to the portal so that they'll be just slightly faster than the rest. But for now it's fine. I mean, the slime farm is hardly our most important location. I don't really know what would be. But what I wanted to see is if there is a way to change this rail here, this powered rail. I don't know if this is possible at all. For this, like, you might have seen this design. It's like a twisty pattern of mostly regular rail, but it outperforms the powered rail based on some sort of I don't know, velocity glitch. Okay, so I think we've settled on a design here, and we're gonna just compare the regular powered rails to this new setup and see how it looks. So minecart here and here, and let's check this out. Okay, so the spiral rails definitely far outperform the powered rails. Now the setup we have here, we actually put 3 powered rails at the beginning just to make sure that the minecart reaches its max speed of 8 blocks per second. So the time we've saved is not going to be reflected in our ice farm's jump time, because this is our ice farm here, and there's no change. It still just uses the regular powered rails. But as you saw, this spiral section very quickly outperforms the powered rails, but the time saved here is actually double, because if you think about it, looking at the pattern on the ground, we could potentially fit in twice as many item sorters because the rails cross all these blocks beneath them. So basically, when you see this, that is actually twice as fast, this section, because twice as many item sorters could potentially go in there. And another little change, we previously had the redstone dust connected to this redstone block, and then we had a block with a torch on it inverting the signal. So basically there was the extra delay of the redstone torch, which is only a tiny delay, but it's still a delay. So I've actually swapped the system now so that the redstone dust is here and it's not powered by default at all. And then when our instant wire retracts, so it all retracts at the same time, so we're not adding any delay anymore, the redstone block comes back to here on top of the glazed terracotta, so this won't move, and powers the redstone dust, sending in our minecart. And I think that is all of the improvements we can make to the sender signal. Okay, well, I guess that isn't entirely true. There is one more part of the system that we haven't really looked at optimizing, but we can have a look at it now just to kind of see what our options are. So that is the calibrated skulk sensor, which detects the jump. So if I jump here, you can see there isn't that much of a delay from the moment we land. But what we could potentially do, if we wanted to, and we can compare the delay, is we could get rid of the glass on top, because for every block that the skulk signal travels, so for example if I go over here, maybe up a block, up a couple blocks, so you can see it travel through the air, and I think it's a like 0.05 second delay per block traveled. So when we jump on the glass directly above it, even though we're right next to it, there is a 0.05 delay, and so we could potentially do this and jump directly on the sensor if we wanted, but we have this little bit of the top of the skulk sensor poking out, which does not look good. And also the way we drop down, well, firstly it doesn't feel nice, but it probably negates the time saved, because we don't trigger it, we don't land for slightly longer, so I think it kind of works out the same. So there's no need to do that. So we can put this back and put our wool back. And so this is the setup we have, and you can see the delay isn't that bad, but where the delay really comes from is the jump. Like I said earlier, if we could just detect the moment we hit space instead of the moment we land, we'd save almost an entire second, right? So we can look at one way to do that using tripwire. Alright guys, so we have a tripwire 3 blocks above our head now. So the top lamp is triggered by the tripwire, and the bottom lamp is triggered by the calibrated skulk sensor, and you can see the difference. So really big difference. The tripwire is detecting the top of the jump, and then the skulk sensor is obviously not triggering until we land. So there's a really big difference between the two. Changing to the tripwire detection would basically make jump transport completely instant, because right now we're at like 2.15 seconds or something, and the tripwire saves almost a second. So I mean, it would feel almost completely instant, but you know, you always need to balance you know, form and function, and something like this is really like right in between the two. You know, the system for me, it's already extremely efficient compared to any other mode of transport, and I think I always kind of lean a bit more towards form. Like, so say for example in Minecraft, things like windmills or boats, like people make all kinds of builds, and like stuff like windmills and boats I always think are like a prime example of form, because in Minecraft there's not really any like in-game function for those. They're just there for aesthetic, like to look nice in most cases. And then on the opposite side of that spectrum is like things for function. These are like farms that are producing, you know, 10,000 blocks per hour, that you need to build a whole perimeter for. They destroy the entire terrain around them and produce way more blocks than anyone could really need, and so that's like the absolute other end from form. And so a decision like this kind of puts me in between the two of them. You know, do we want it to be absolutely instant transport, or do we want it to feel a little nicer, right? So for me, I don't like seeing I don't like hearing the tripwire. And I know there is a way to make that silent using an observer, but we're still going to have one tripwire hook in our map room that would be visible. And then when we fly into the room, you can just check this out. When we fly into the room, right, we'd need to be careful that we don't trigger any of the tripwire as we're landing. So there'd be maybe a tripwire visible here. We wouldn't want to trigger it while we're landing. You can, I think I just like the how kind of subtle the skulk sensor is. So in this case, you know, we're gonna sacrifice. We're just gonna wait the extra second and have it feel nice. And for sending the signal back, the main thing that we need to speed up is just to swap out these vertical redstone torches for a faster alternative. Okay, and there is the instant wire, so it's automatically extended, and then when the minecart goes over the detector rail here, it will retract, so we can press this button to see that. And there we go, so it's a lot faster than it was with the torches. Okay, so now after those speed optimizations, let's compare it again to the same footage of entering the nether portal and see if we can travel to our ice farm and back before we enter the nether. Okay, pretty quick. Okay guys, I wanted to look at one more thing, and because I had this idea that, you know, at the moment we just jump where we want to go and then we teleport there, but when we come back we have this cool player launcher system where we actually come up from underneath the map, and so because when we jump we're looking down at the map, when we teleport we're still looking down, and that means that when we come back out in the map room it almost feels like we came out of the map directly below us. And so I thought it's definitely worth making a player launcher at, say, our ice farm and just seeing how it feels to like jump on this map and then pop out of the same map in that location. And so I thought that was cool, but then I thought it would be even cooler if it felt like we actually fall into the map we jump on. And so I came up with this little thing that I think feels nice. So let's jump on our ice farm. Oh, okay, I messed up. I need to be, it's a little finicky. Jump on our ice farm again. Okay, and we fall through. So the question is, do we teleport fast enough that we just see us fall through and we don't see too much of the skulk sensor, because that kind of breaks the effect. So let's try it out. Okay, and there is water in there. Okay, so we place the trapdoor there. Frame, map. And let's try this out. It can be a little finicky too to make sure you fall down the trapdoor. Oh, come on. What? What did I do wrong? Oh. Oh. Hold on a minute. I think because it's waterlogged, we didn't get the entity land. Okay, so it's no longer waterlogged. Let's try this again. What? Why is that breaking it? And then we transport. What? I really don't know what's going on with that. Very strange. Okay, let's try this without the map on top just to see what's going on. So I stand right on the trapdoor here just to make sure that I fall down. We're gonna jump and we're gonna land on the trapdoor, which is gonna trigger the skulk sensor, which is gonna open the trapdoor, which is gonna allow us to fall down. But the signal should already have been sent from when we land on the trapdoor initially. Okay, so that did pretty much work there. It's not quite fast enough though for the effect to work, right? We just want to have begun falling into the map, and then already be at the already have teleported, right? As soon as the map like fills our whole screen as we fall through it, we want to teleport. At the moment we're landing and we're just staring at the skull sensor for about a second and then we're teleporting. And so obviously if we were to use the trap door or the tripwire system, this might actually be feasible, but then we're gonna have the trap wire above our heads and all that. So I think I'm gonna leave it for today's episode. I'm not gonna try to work on that kind of falling into the map effect, but I think it's definitely an interesting idea, and there might be a way that we can make the whole thing feel really kind of immersive if we can get that to work properly, where we fall into one map and then we pop out a map in the destination location. Just gonna try it one more time with the map on top, see what it looks like again. Not bad. Alright, so I want to test out these couple of blocks and where they leave us in relation to the map above, right? So when we're in first person, regular slab placed on a trapdoor, we see basically the item frame, so it's slightly too low. Then we can check out the daylight sensor. I thought would be good, but it's actually too low. We don't even see the map. This is pretty good. I mean, it's perfect. We just see the map. We're at 23.56 on the y-axis. We can also check out the powdered snow, which, oh, that's just too low. And I can't add more to it. I thought I could add more to it. Again, yeah, too low, 23.5. And then the cobweb, I'm going to test it from above. So the cobweb's an interesting one. Which is at the third? The cobweb's an interesting one because one of the issues we had when we tested it out, right, was the delay. So I would jump and then see the skulk sensor and then just be waiting awkwardly. So it's a bit better now with these new blocks. If I test out this one, it's just, I'm just looking at the map, so I'm not as aware that I'm just like waiting to be teleported. And then when we're teleported, we'll still be looking at the map as we pop out, so I think it'll feel smooth enough. But the cobweb's an interesting one because we still have some movement. We fall down and then bam, and we'll be teleported. So I definitely want to test that one out. It's a really awkward one if it turns out we didn't set up the ender pearl on the destination portal or something, and then we're just stuck in a cobweb. But I think it's kind of interesting. Can I just remove these so I can, what's up there, do a proper jump here and test it out. Oh, missed it. Yeah, I think this might be a winner. The cobweb might be the winner. And remember, the skulk is triggered by the landing on the trapdoor, which will then open and drop us onto the cobweb. So I'm gonna try these two out. I think these are the two winners for me. Okay, so there's a slight problem. I've just put in the stone cutter there beneath our trapdoor, and when we jump on the map, trapdoor opens. Then when the trapdoor closes, it kind of pushes us down so that we're I don't know, like prone on top of the stone cutter, and so we kind of see everything. The illusion's broken. So let's try it with the cobweb, and I'm hoping the same thing doesn't happen, but it could well happen. So we're hoping we don't get pushed down, and we do. And now we're stuck. Okay, so just thinking about it while I'm still getting out of this cobweb, and I do have a shears in my hand. Well, the solution is basically to not have the trapdoor close again so quickly. Okay, so I haven't worked out how to do it just yet, but I have worked out a way that we can just test this, and that's basically just by using a regular piston to push this redstone block up and power this redstone dust permanently, which will keep the trapdoor from closing. So let's try this out. We're going to jump on this and see how this feels. And that's pretty cool, I think. It doesn't really matter how much of a delay there is on the teleport now, because we're just going to be staring at the map, and then suddenly we're going to pop out of the same map. And that was with the grindstone. Alright guys, we are approaching the end of today's episode, but we have a couple of things to take a look at first that are pretty exciting, so let's have a look. Firstly, I came back to the trapdoor cobweb thing and I did get it working, but it works okay. It's a little bit, there's two things with it. Firstly, there's a bit of a delay, like we jump on the trapdoor and then the trapdoor opens. It's not that instant, which doesn't feel great so far. And the other thing is, it's a little inconsistent. It seems to have messed around a bit with the how well our teleporter triggers. Now it did work that time, so yeah, well, that's it. It feels pretty nice overall. I think it just needs a little bit, we need to make it more consistent, and we need to make it a bit more instant, but it feels pretty nice. The part that I really love is coming out of the map here. You know, I'm not sure on the other side, even if we just leave it with the regular jump, I really love the coming out of the map effect that we have on this side. So let me show you what we have here. Now this probably is what took most of my time to build, and so again, it's just the same as in our regular map room. It's a ender porter combined with a player launcher, but I put a bit of extra effort into this one, and I can try to, let's see. So firstly, you can load the ender pearls in here. Now we probably will have to try to build some sort of machine that can automatically load, like we can throw down 10 or 20 ender pearls and somehow it'll push one by one into here, loading it for us so that we don't sort of fill it every time, but that'll be for a future episode. Now we do have basically this triggers these pistons, pushes across, and then this, and I can try to show you here, I think. This player launcher here, no, that won't work. I won't show you the player launcher. I can't really show you this without going and changing a bit of the redstone here. So just basically I'll show you this ender porter triggers. I'm pushed across to here, right? And then this trapdoor here is basically because at the top the trapdoor is also on this side, and if we didn't have this trapdoor here, we'd be pushed right across to the edge here, and then when we're pushed up we would hit into the bottom of the trapdoor at the top. So we have one here just to help line us up, and this is actually connected to the whole player launcher, so it moves, and this ice block and these two, they all move with the player launcher, and this launches us up. And now what's cool about this one that we didn't have in the one in our regular map room, which we're going to have to go back and upgrade, is we have a little map here that just helps to sell the effect that we're coming out of the map. It creates kind of like a feeling of that the map is rushing by. But what's really cool is that when we're launched, we can land. We don't like the one back at our map room. I think we kind of land about like this, right? Maybe even a bit higher. Whereas with this one here, we land right here. Like there's no feeling that we were launched up. You just are here. And we have a nice little sound effect, which we can hear actually. Yeah, so that is the player launcher. I'm going to need to clean it up. I'm probably going to disguise it as like the terrain around the place here. And I'm also experimenting with the map a little bit. like it feels cool that we. Oh yeah, and this is something that I didn't realize before. Maybe you guys knew about it. That if you name tag a map, that the name appears above it. So I actually, at first I was like, this is awesome. Let's put it like all our jump locations on our map room will have text above them. But I don't know. I'm not so sure. Maybe I prefer just keeping it simple. But yeah, the idea with this map is that when we pop up here, right, it feels like we're still in the map room until we look up and we're like, oh no, we're at our ice farm now. I also wanted to show you another thing I've set up here. So let's just do this. Where does this line go to? And you can see I've started spawn proofing this whole area. So I've set up a new line here. Let's see where it takes us. Okay, so it took us to a nether location, right? Now usually that was uncommon, I think. Yeah, usually I get spat out further. But anyway, this is our Strider boathouse in the nether. And it's pretty messy right now, but I just wanted to show that interdimensional transport is possible with the system. So the way we do it, right, is this signal just comes around from our item sorter here, around the corner. Signal goes up here, and it sends a minecart into the overworld. And this minecart triggers the sticky piston, and the sticky piston pushes this pearl back into the nether, and that's how we get here. So I think that's pretty cool. Basically, we'll be able to have nether locations that we can teleport to as well. And there's one other dimension, right? That, you know, if jump transport's going to be super efficient, it should be able to bring us to the nether, anywhere in the overworld, and to the end. Yeah, it can bring us to the end too. So I'll show you how that works as well. Now right now it just brings us to the end platform, but I'm going to set it up to bring us directly to our Enderman farm, and we'll be able to set it to bring us to any end location. And then when we come back, wow, we're in the middle of our map. How did that work? Well, this villager, who will come back up, don't worry, they can't escape. Where is he? He kind of spoiled it, but basically there's just a bed hidden underneath here, which means anytime we come back from the end, where did that villager go? Is he still there? Anytime we come back from the end, we'll come up in the middle of our map, which is really great, and it's kind of now our central hub for our whole world. We can go to any location on the map. We can go to the end. We can go to the nether. So I just kind of wanted to explore all of that in today's episode and just make sure it's all doable. And we'll kind of iterate on all of it afterwards. And I just want to show you how the end one works. So all it does is I put a ender porter underneath our end portal here. And then when the ender porter is triggered, the trapdoor closes and our head goes into the end, and then we're instantly teleported in, and then we're back again. So yeah, that's most of what I wanted to show you. The other thing that I thought was kind of cool is I finally finished the walls of the map room. Right, these were just stone for so long, ever since we finished the map room like 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago. So I kind of went for this design in the end. I ended up adding more copper to the walls, but there is still a bit of the acacia and a bit of the stone, and I think the tough block in the background really helps to kind of make the stone feel a bit more structured and add a little bit more depth to the design. And there's a bit of glow I sounded French there, on the tough, and on the copper and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that design. The other thing I wanted to say, guys, is thank you for the all subscribing. I mean, we passed 1,000 subscribers, all from the initial jump transport video. I mean, when I uploaded the first jump transport video, just last episode of this Let's Play, I had 32 subscribers, and now we're almost at 1,500. So I wanted to say thank you so much for that. But there's one more thing. There's one more thing I wanted to show you in today's episode. So the Nether Strider boathouse I showed you. The jump location I didn't show you, right? The Ender Portal one's over there because I haven't worked out how we're going to incorporate the end into the map yet. But I do know how we're going to incorporate the Nether, and I've known this. Well, I didn't know about jump transport. I only came up with that more recently. But I've known that we're going to have... This is our Strider boathouse right here. This little red dot. Okay. Why is it here? Why do we want to jump here to teleport to our Strider boathouse? Well, guys, for a long time I've teased that the roof of this map room is the real project here. And I'll just say, you know, what if there was a way to line up a map of the Nether above the map of the overworld, creating an interdimensional map room where every location in the overworld was directly above its corresponding location in the Nether. But there's no way to map the Nether, right?